Hi, I'm Rochelle, and welcome to the Transformational Soul Talks. Have you ever wondered what it means to be aware, be awakened, or perhaps even just wake up one morning and you realize, wait a minute, this is all behind a veil. This is very strange. I'm getting and understanding how things are very different now. And you see things that maybe you didn't see the day before, a year before. Well, my guest today, a transformational leader whose journey bridges professional expertise with deep wisdom. Following a successful career in social work, she experienced a profound spiritual calling and has expanded her work into new dimensions. Through her Fear to Freedom Project channel on YouTube, she began by highlighting remarkable individuals and their unique gifts to the world. Creating alongside her spiritual team of ancestors, angel guides, and spiritual guides, she is weaving and creating together ancient wisdom with modern healing practices to prepare for the global outreach. Her approach combines her mental behavior expertise with sacred practices, including meditation, yoga, oracle work, ancestral divination, and more. As a divine alchemist and wisdom keeper, she creates a safe space for others to heal, grow, and awaken. She has guided individuals and communities through transforming their challenges into stepping stones for human evolution. Her work is a testament to the power of surrendering to the divine guidance while remaining grounded and anchored to oneself. I want to offer a warm and wonderful welcome to my lovely friend, Dr. Deborah Carson.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful. That was absolutely just beautiful. Thank you.
You're
Global
welcome.
outreach. That's my thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, to give our audience a little bit of a background, you and I were actually introduced by a lovely gentleman by the name of Dr. Kevin Vaughn.
Yeah, my
Yes,
cousin.
yes. And you and I got on a wonderful call and started chit-chatting and started realizing that we had so much in common and we had a lot of things we wanted to share with each other. I came on your wonderful show and then I decided to have you on to share your beautiful gifts and everything that you're doing as as I like to say, not as the world turns, but as everything changes.
Yes, that's funny as the world changes. Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to say that I honor you.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for inviting me. You are the very first podcast that I am on, and I feel so
Oh,
honored. And so, yeah, thank you. I thank my
you're
cousin
welcome.
also for connecting us, that he's very good with that.
He is,
Yeah,
yes.
he's
So
amazing
the
connecting.
transformational soul talks, we talk all about different things, transforming your body, transforming your mind, transforming your life from trauma or everything that is in transforming. And there was a gentleman I had on, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I loved his analogy of transforming it because you can change, but then you can always go back to the way you were. But when you transform, there's no going back. And he
Mhm.
had a great little analogy where he said, would the butterfly go back to being a caterpillar? And I thought, no, I have never ever seen that.
Never seen that one. Never seen that one.
No. So when we transform our lives, and I think that's why, as a transformational coach myself, I really wanted to share with people, you transform your life, everything changes. And like I said at the very beginning, I think people are starting to realize that what we knew as the norm, as regular life, getting up, doing your thing, going to work, doing this, doing that, getting married, having children, just watching like I think about it now, watching the news at 6 o'clock and going to the grocery store, all of that is an illusion that you can create, you can adjust, you can play with. I mean, talk to me a little bit about that, about what you have really experienced and how this has affected your life.
Oh, wow. That is so loaded. You are so right, girl. I mean, just think about like the way that we have normally done something. And a question was posed to me like, what if everything that you know, everything that you believed, everything that you thought what it was? What if it's not? What if there's
Mm,
another way of looking at it? What if it's somewhat true? And what if it's just altogether, like it's just a different way of seeing it? How would you respond to that, And for most of us, we would respond, probably in a maladaptive way. I responded with fear. I just
mhm,
did not know a lot of the things. I pretty much have lived in fear silently. I am like the silent sufferer. That would have been what I consider myself, like a silent sufferer. But whoever that gentleman was, he was right. Transformation, I could never go back. I mean, I am the butterfly, And so transformation means so much for me right now. And what I've learned is that there's a veil, and on the other side of it is wisdom. There is
mm.
wisdom and there is support and there is love. And I literally like to live on that side of the veil. I access that side of the veil every day, all day long. I have, angel guides and ancestors and spirit guides that are actually like, they are helping me. And so I'm really excited about life. It didn't start this way though. There was a lot of heartache, and that's not to say, Rochelle, that it's not going to be heartache. Life continues to be life, right?
Mhm,
I've just changed my POV. I've changed my
mhm.
point of view about it, right? That's all over the internet. Like, what's your POV? I see it like scrolling down the feeds and everybody's POV. Yeah, well, I've changed my POV just about life, and guess what? Life will make you change your POV. Actually, your spirit team will if you open yourself up to them. And I just have. I mean, I have. And I am so glad that I have because that transformation has happened. It's taken place. And I'm not going to tell you it didn't come and it's not still coming with a lot of heartstring pulling, a
It
lot of things
does,
pulling at
right?
your heartstrings, right?
People say
Uh,
that all the time. Oh, transformation sounds all lovely, and I'm like, no, it's actually really hard, and it is a lot of work.
It's a
But at the
work.
same time, if someone said to you, when you were a kid, if they had come to you and said, "Hey, this is what's going to happen when you're older," what would you have said to them?
Oh my gosh, you're funny because that's a great question because I asked my girlfriend, my spiritual awakening happened because she's a channel and I never knew. She never told me. So she's here one day and she starts to channel my ancestors. And it's no
Ah,
way she could have done that. And, my dad is talking through her and telling her things. And I'm like, this cannot be, but it is. It is. It is. It's so true.
mhm,
So yeah, that information came yeah, through her, and it was um it was eye-opening, actually. It
mm.
was very eye-opening um to know that there's someone else on the other side of the veil. And I asked her, she said, well, we were talking about it, and she said, I mean, because I was like, well, why don't they tell us this? And why don't they tell us what's going to happen? And
Mm.
that's not what it's for, right? It's
No.
for wisdom. It's not to predict your future. Your future is already set, right? It's already done for you. So done for you. I love that. But she said, think about it. What if you was a baby and you were wanting a bottle and at the same time you were having to deal with the fact that you were going to have diabetes when you were 50? You know?
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. She
oh
said that.
wow.
Yeah, she said, what how could you handle that
Yeah,
information?
exactly.
Or yeah, so yeah, what if we did?
Baby steps, right? Because you
Yeah.
have to learn and grow. And some of us, we kind of know when we're really young, and then some of us kind of put it away a little bit, and then it comes back. But we are here for a certain amount of time. And there was something I heard, and I wanted your thoughts on this. And I heard this through a very famous channel. He had said something along the lines of, you're here for a certain time. You have a contract to, involve yourself with other souls. You cannot exit this time frame until you have completed your contract. Even if you try to, it won't work. And I thought, that's interesting. And then I thought, wow, well, what if you decided to, take your car and run it off the road or, take something? Nope, it's not going to happen because it's not your time. You have contracted. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? I've just learned about, contracts because I have accessed my Akashic records. So I was
Mm,
able to get with a practitioner to take me there. And then I took a Dr. Josephine Hardman's free mini course
hmm
and I accessed my own records. So yeah, there are many contracts that we have. I didn't remember. I didn't remember, of course, because when we come here, there's a certain amount of spiritual Alzheimer's that we come here with. That's a part of
right.
the deal. And so I can tell you that for most of my life, I am a suicide survivor, a suicide ideation survivor, should I
Okay.
say. I have thought of suicide since I was 14 years old. And so when you talk about ending your life and ending your contract, obviously it wasn't in the cards for me.
hmm
However, I do know people that have committed suicide. And so that could be a part of their contract.
hmm
I don't know what their contract is, but I do know and believe, based on what I'm studying, is that um, there is no death. And so
No.
if you do decide that you want to end the contract or end your journey before it's time, that when you come back, you will repeat it. And so
Mm.
there is no death. And so on the other side of the veil, of course, there are spirit guides and ancestors and everybody that's waiting for you to because you wake up and you see that you're not dead. And so there needs to be some support for that. So I don't really know, that, if you can't, if you cancel your contract, if that's what people who have committed suicide and actually gone on with it, if that's what it's called, what they're doing. But I did not, thankfully I did not. And each time there was a lesson for me to learn in it. And
hmm
also I've discovered some information in my Akashic records to let me know why these repeated patterns of thoughts and behaviors and actions and things like that have taken place in my life. So I'm glad that I did not give up. I'm here to be a poster child for not giving up, honestly, because you can't give up. My ancestors, they showed up. I had been calling them forth, and one day they showed up to tell me that, and they told me a lot of things, but this one important thing that they told me is that I cannot give up. You don't cease to exist. So they were happy that I did not actually go through with the suicide on the many times, and even some attempts. They were happy that it didn't happen because they said you never cease to exist. So you just have to repeat. And who wants to I don't want to repeat this.
No, nobody wants to do that.
I don't know. So,
I
I
was like,
mean,
this
some
life is
people
hard
may.
enough. I don't want to redo it again.
Girl, I am not repeating the stuff that's happening or that has happened. These experiences are beautiful in that they have given me information on, more of who I am.
Mm,
Those experiences have helped me to become more of who I am, which is God, which is
mm,
the source, the
hmm
creative source and intelligence that we come from, that we know, is God. We call God, but that is mother, father, God too. It is, it's the earth that we stand on.
But if there's someone listening now and they're like, okay, that's great, fantastic, you don't want to give up, but maybe they're struggling with so much that they're like, screw this, like why do I want to stay in this misery? Maybe they don't have a place to live, or something bad is happening to them, or they're just really depressed. They're going to say, well, why? It would just, I could end it, and why not give up? What would you
Yeah.
say to them?
I would say that you never cease to exist. So
Mm,
when you give up or you think you're giving up, you're not giving up. And when you do come back to this lifetime, another incarnation, you will pick up from where you left off. And that's what I do want people to know that are thinking, because it has been so deep with me. You have to understand that the feeling of just hopelessness. I have had that deep depression, hopelessness, all of it, drug addiction, all of those things, homelessness, domestic violence, failed marriages. Yeah, yeah, name it. Name it. I've had it. So we all have been there. There is no way to give up. It takes a lot of courage to keep it pushing.
Yeah, it
It
does.
would have been easy for me to jump off of a bridge.
Mm. That in itself for me scares the shit.
Doesn't that scare the shit out of you? But sometimes we are there. And I tell you that as a soul traveling on this journey, that's not your soul's mission. But if you decide to do that, it is your choice. It
Hmm.
is your choice. The source that created you, that brought you here, that allowed you to be here is not going to be like, oh, you gave up, right? You will go back there, and when you incarnate, you'll pick up. And
Mm.
hopefully you won't repeat that pattern, because I understand that, see, obviously I had those patterns in other lifetimes, right?
Mm.
Right. So those incarnations continue if you come back here. I just see different, I see life differently now that I can go on the other side of the veil and access the wisdom and support that is there for me, to support me and love me and guide me along the way. We don't know how to do this. We don't know how to do it by ourselves. You understand? It is obvious that we don't, because of the way that we treat the earth and the souls that are in the earth. We
Hmm.
have not treated us very kindly. We
Hmm.
haven't. So how much lower can we go as a species?
Hmm. Hmm.
How much? Right? So there's nothing else left to do except to work on your heart space. Work
Mm.
on loving. It gets easier when you operate from your heart space, not your ego. So yeah, I'm over
True.
here in the spiritual lab, girl. Like I'm over here being massaged. They working on me like this. Okay. This is what my spiritual team is doing. I mean it. I mean it. And I love it. I really do. It's tough work though, Rachel. Oh my goodness.
It
Sometimes
is.
I'm in here like just crying and like, why, but I
It
get
does.
it.
It is crazy. I mean, my journey
Girl.
started, and actually my journey started, wow, I think 2016, and I ended up doing ayahuasca, and from that
Mhm.
everything started to unfold, and I started to see things and realize that, just like yourself, that, oh, it's not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, as a young child, I always questioned it. I was always the kid that said, why? Why? Why does it have to be that way?
Yeah.
And I got in a lot of trouble for it, right? Because I was questioned authority. I was like, but who made you the big boss? Why do we have to do it that way?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that is an important thing to ask. And I don't know about you, but I always tell people, does it serve you to be like that? Does it serve you to go that way? Are you really honoring who you are and what you want to see? So
Good
if there was
question.
something in your life that you could undo, that you could redo, what would it be and why?
Hmm. Something in my life that I would undo. I don't know that I would undo anything if I had to pick something. Hmm.
Or
I
change?
probably, yeah, I probably would not change anything, because everything that has transpired, if you would have asked me that, maybe like 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I would change this, I would change that. But I cannot say honestly that I would change something, because everything has gotten me to this point.
Exactly. Yeah.
It has gotten me to this point. It has served me, because once you know more of what you don't want, you know more of what you
Yeah.
do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I wouldn't change anything. However, it's certain parts of or developmental stages in my lifetime, I would talk to myself, more, and I would tell myself that you don't have to give up, like trust yourself more. And I would tell myself there are other people like on the side of the other veil. Like you have a whole spiritual team and ancestors
Hmm.
that love you and angel guides that are with you and that you I would tell myself how to access that. My mother did a really good job at laying a foundation for me because she introduced me to the Course in Miracles. She introduced me to this lady is still on. She has a YouTube, Betty Eady. She was the first book I read Embraced by the Light, that was like a near-death experience. And then she gave me Conversations with God. She took me to a past life regression experience when I was 24, totally blew my mind. And however, we were traditional Christians.
Hmm.
So that is what my spirituality or religious belief was anchored in. And so, but my mother, she is a seeker. She is a seeker of knowledge. And she even told me about the Akashic records. It was not called that to me. She told me about the book of life. So my mother, she laid foundations for me and set me up for all of what's happening now.
Isn't
And
that
it's not,
funny?
I know,
And
I mean,
you had no clue.
I had no, in fact, I'm telling you, when she took me to the past life regression and I went through all of it and like all of this experience was like in my imagination and it was trauma. It was
Yeah.
traumatic. I was like an abused kid. And I just didn't want to go back. I didn't know what that meant or what it was. But my mom, so sweet, she was seeking and and I don't even remember what happened. I just remember like I don't want to go to anything like that anymore. Oh my gosh. This is the work that I have done, work with children to protect children like all of my career. So yeah, it's weird about like what's going on. Like if you look at it, you like, oh my God, like all of these angels and guides are talking to you, your ancestors are talking to you, and you don't see them, but you actually hear and feel, and they give you images of what they're saying and how to guide you along your journey. It's like a treasure hunt, and
That
it's
is
almost like a game, they say, like, and I wasn't that good at games, I've been so like linear, and everything is like black and white, and that's how I've been. And that's not what this life is, not linear. It's so
no.
not linear.
Our
You're
life
like,
is not linear. So just to revert back, you had a career in social work. What was the reason you got into that type of work? What led you into that?
yeah, I started out at Hampton University in communications and journalism, actually. And,
Oh, okay.
you know, I, and then when I came home to DC, I went to UDC. I was going to UDC, University of DC, and I went there and I went to a career counselor. They were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to help people. I just want to help people. I want to make sure that people are cool and okay." And they were like, "Well, you should be a social worker." I was like, "All right, bet." And so I did it, and I became one of the best social workers that grace this earth. I can tell you that. I am one of the best. And because of that, I cared for people. I gave everything. And a part of me helping someone else not to kill themselves, it helped me stay alive.
Wow.
Because really in the end, you're really talking to yourself. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me.
Yeah,
If I treat you like crap, I'm treating me like crap,
I
right?
love that. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
It makes
talking to
sense.
it does make sense. I mean, we are all one. So I just took so much joy in really my profession as a social worker. It wasn't for pay. I am early retired, and trust me, it is not any of that. But it set me up for this work that I am going to do now.
Exactly.
Life work. Yes.
That was a nice bridge for that because it gave
Yes.
you that opening. It's funny how life, and it's definitely, I always say it's funny, but it's not. It's like it has this path in order for you to gain the wisdom to give you clarity to be able to cross that bridge when you're ready to see behind the veil, to realize what you really are here for and what your purpose is.
Yes, Rachel. Yes. I'm so glad you said that because the bridge walker, they told me I am a bridge walker. It's so funny.
Interesting.
So yeah, my guys, they were like, you're a bridge walker. They showed me because I follow a lot of good people, and I am being coached by the famous, Abiola Abrams. I love her. She is my coach, and I listen to really good people. I'm connected, to you, to Shaman Durek, and a lot of the other podcasts. And I listen to Bashar, of course, who's an extraterrestrial. And I don't care whether or not I believe that something is coming through somebody. What they're saying makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. It did not make sense to me whenever I was just in my Christian walk or whatever it was. It served me at
Mm.
the time, but it didn't add up. Things didn't add up. I still want to kill myself. I'm still in therapy, doing all of those things and all of those rituals and praying to God and begging God and asking God to do these things. That is not how you do it. That is not it. That is not it. You are God. You raise your vibration and let it resonate with everything that is good and big and expansive, and you will draw to you what you want. I don't have to beg God for nothing. God don't listen to nobody begging.
I
Who
find
does?
this interesting, and I just want to ask you your thoughts on this because I had this conversation with a taxi driver about a month ago
For
where
real?
we where we talked about Jesus and God, and
What?
it was a lovely Ethiopian gentleman. But
Mhm.
I said very clearly, "But we are all God. We are all part of God."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, yeah, but Jesus died for us." I said, "Okay, but we are all part of the same thing. We all have God within us." And he was like, "No, no, that's separate. No, God is there. We're here." And I was like, so we were going back and forth. And I finally said, "I'll tell you what, you just drive me home and we'll agree to disagree because
Yes.
apparently there's just no understanding." And I said, "No, we're all God. We're all fractures of God to
And
experience."
so yes, and what's so beautiful about the cabbie is that the cabbie is on its journey, and
Yeah,
when it is time for his soul to understand that, he will, because you see, we are here because God is experiencing itself through us. And so there is no other thing to do except expand. You just going on your own journey at your own time, at your own
exactly.
rate. So everybody and people that don't know, aren't aware now, okay, that's fine. We love you. We send you light. We hold space for you. And we are one, brother, and honor and bow to you. And just know that on his journey, he's going to get to it because you can't not get to it. You see, the journey is the destination. You got to get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is something I always say. It's not even so much about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about
The
getting there.
process.
Because once you achieve whatever you have achieved, you're like, okay, now what's next? But I love this. So much great knowledge and so much, what's the word I'm looking for? But just depth of understanding. And I really, really like what you're sharing with me here. So if
Thank you.
someone was interested in getting hold of you and they maybe wanted to work with you, they want to come on your podcast, where can they find you on what platforms?
Oh my gosh. YouTube. I'm there at the Fear to Freedom Project, and people can email me. I'm in the lab, so to speak. So yes, I'm developing a lot of projects right now that will be able to serve humanity. And so my work is very intimate right now. And so yes, you can follow me on YouTube, and also people can just email me, reach out to me.
Okay,
Um,
I'll drop that in the show notes.
yes,
So
I'll send you the
Fear to
email.
Freedom YouTube channel, and I'll drop your email.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yes,
So
yes.
if there was something you wanted to share with our listeners today, what would you say to them?
Oh my God, that your soul knows its journey.
Mm.
Your soul sees you. There is wisdom. There are family members, friends, spirit guides, angel guides on the other side of the veil that are waiting to support you and to guide you along your journey. And so if you just place your hand over your heart and you set your intention, they are not going to come until you call them. And so when you call them, they will come and all of the doors open up. And I know that life can be life, but that's okay. You can change your POV. And for women, can be found on a platform called Inner Bloom. And it's like 70 to 80 coaches, so much information, all at your fingertips. And that's kind of where I'm kind of nesting myself right now. And so it is a membership. It's a one-time membership of $97. And it's really, really just a community of women that are being empowered through wealth. Building wealth, understanding it, and just emotional awareness and some emotional support. So I would just say, like hang in there, yeah, definitely you can reach out to me and just love yourself. Self-love is the greatest. Love yourself. I had a meditation where I dropped inside of my heart. Do you understand? Like I was inside of the heart.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't make this up. I can't. I'm not that clever. And so I would tell you to drop inside of your heart, right? Imagine what it feels like to see your heart pumping all of the love from the source that created you. You are love. So I honor you. Thank you, sister, for inviting me.
Oh, you're so
Appreciate you.
welcome.
I love you
I
so much.
I love you too. And I really enjoyed this conversation because we covered so many different topics. And I'd have to say that, having you on has really made me realize how important it is to love ourselves. Because there are days where we all have crappy days and, you want to crawl back in bed and say, screw this shit. But
Yes, yes, girl, F it. Like all of it. Yes, I'm telling you, I'm
having
number
this
one.
conversation has just brightened up my day. So I want to thank you so much for coming on my podcast and sharing your beautiful wisdom. Thank
You
you.
are so welcome. Thank you.